Hello everyone, and welcome to English Unlimited. Today we are going to explore one of the most famous detective books in English literature, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, first published in 1892. This book is a collection of 12 detective stories about the brilliant detective Sherlock Holmes and his loyal friend Dr. Watson. The stories are full of mystery, crime, and clever solutions. In this video, I will give you a long summary in simple English, perfect for B1 learners. Let's begin the adventure. The stories show us different sides of human life. Sometimes they are about love and marriage, sometimes about money and power, and often about fear and danger. Sherlock Holmes is not a normal man. He observes small details that other people ignore. He uses logic and deduction to find the truth. Dr. Watson is his close friend and the narrator of the stories. Watson admires Holmes and explains the cases to us. Together, they make a team that is famous in London and beyond. One of the most important stories is about a woman called Irene Adler. She is clever and beautiful. A king from Bohemia comes to Holmes because Irene has a photograph that could cause him problems. Holmes uses many tricks to find the photograph, but Irene is too smart. She escapes with it and promises not to use it. Holmes respects her intelligence and always remembers her as the woman, the only person who could outsmart him. Another story tells us about the strange red-headed league. A man with red hair is invited to copy texts every day for money. Later, the league disappears. Holmes discovers that it was only a trick to keep the man away from his shop while criminals dug a tunnel to a bank. Holmes and the police stop the robbery in time. In another case, a young woman, Mary Sutherland, is waiting to marry a man called Hosmer Angel. But on the wedding day, the man disappears. Holmes finds that Hosmer Angel never existed. He was really Mary's stepfather in disguise, who wanted to stop her from marrying so he could keep her money. We also hear about the Boscombe Valley murder. A father is killed and his son is accused because people heard them arguing. But Holmes proves the son is innocent. The real murderer was a man with a secret from the past. Thanks to Holmes, the young man does not go to prison. Another dramatic story is about the 5 orange pips. A man comes to Holmes because his family members receive letters with 5 orange pips and later die in accidents. Holmes understands that these letters are warnings from a secret group in America. Sadly, the client dies before he can escape. Holmes feels angry because he discovered the truth too late to save him. Some stories are less dark and even funny. In The Man with the Twisted Lip, a wife thinks her husband has disappeared. The police suspect a beggar. But Holmes discovers that the beggar is actually the husband. He pretends to be poor because he earns more money by begging than in his normal job. His wife forgives him, and the family continues life normally. Another well-known story is the Blue Carbuncle. During Christmas, a man drops a goose in the street. Inside the goose, there is a rare jewel that was stolen from a hotel. Holmes and Watson follow the mystery and find that a servant tried to hide the jewel inside the bird. The case is solved and the innocent man is saved. One of the most exciting and frightening cases is the Speckled Band. A young woman, Helen, comes to Holmes because her sister died just before her wedding. Her last words were the Speckled Band. Holmes investigates the house and finds strange things: a bed fixed to the floor, a bell rope that does not work, and a hole in the wall. Holmes discovers that the stepfather uses a poisonous snake, the Speckled Band, to kill the girls. Holmes saves Helen and stops the cruel plan. In another case, an engineer loses his thumb after visiting a house where criminals make false money. He was invited to fix a machine, but it was all a trap. He escapes, but he is injured forever. Holmes listens to his story and confirms the truth, but the criminals are never caught. In The Noble Bachelor, a rich lord is left alone on his wedding day because his new wife disappears. Holmes finds that she already had a husband from America, and she went back to him. The nobleman feels ashamed, but the truth is clear. Another interesting story is about a banker who keeps a precious coronet, a piece of jewelry with beryl stones. It is damaged, and he accuses his son. Holmes investigates and discovers that the real thief was the son's cousin. The son is innocent, and his reputation is saved. The final story in the collection is about a governess, Violet Hunter, who accepts a strange job in a house called the Copper Beeches. The family pays her a lot of money, but they ask her to cut her hair and wear certain clothes. Holmes feels suspicious. Later, Violet discovers that the family is hiding another young woman. Holmes reveals that they wanted Violet to look like the prisoner so that neighbors would not notice. The woman is saved, and the crime is stopped. Through these 12 stories, we see the genius of Sherlock Holmes. He notices small details, uses reason, and solves mysteries that confuse everyone else. Dr. Watson tells the stories with respect and admiration, and we learn about London society, human problems, and the dangers people face. The book shows us many themes: love, greed, fear, courage, and intelligence. Some people commit crimes for money, others for revenge, and others for love. Holmes does not judge them emotionally. He only wants the truth, and he uses his amazing mind to find it. This collection made Sherlock Holmes one of the most popular detectives in literature. His character became famous all around the world. Readers love his intelligence, his independence, and his strange habits. They also love the friendship between Holmes and Watson, which makes the stories warm and human. And that is the summary of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It is not only about crime, but also about human nature and society. Holmes teaches us to observe carefully and to think logically. The stories are still exciting today, more than 100 years after they were written. Thank you for listening to this long summary in simple English on English Unlimited. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more classic literature explained in easy English. Which Sherlock Holmes story is your favorite? Tell me in the comments below. And remember, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep improving your English with English Unlimited. See you in the next video.